it done today too. I usually do it while I'm doing the notes because then I go through it slower and I figure out what's going on a little better.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm looking through right now. I did read this issue. I'm awful. Why did I think this was last week's?
I get confused. All right, here we go. I'm gonna get going.
Yeah.
All right, McKenna, no high-pitched noises, please, Kay. No singing. No singing.
No singing.
All right, welcome to the Marvel Minute, guys. I am Brandon, as always, joined by, we'll just start that over. Hang on. I'm messing up my intros here. All right, welcome to the Marvel Minute, guys. I am Brandon, as always, joined by Trevitt. How are we doing, Trevitt?
Pretty good.
Good. And due to popular demand in the vote on Twitter this week, you guys have decided Astonishing X-Men #1 was going to be the choice over Secret Empire, and I can never remember the third book. This is like a running damn gag we got going that's just embarrassing at this point. Do you remember what it was or no?
I'm actually pulling it up right this second. My phone is... There we go. Renew your vows.
Renew your vows. So what came in second? Just out of curiosity's sake.
Renew your vows with 26%.
Okay. Yeah. So, I had a little chat with Reggie this week. He's like, "Oh, I didn't vote for Astonishing X-Men, but I think the #1's going to take it." I'm like, "Yeah, we've kind of pigeonholed ourselves into this little area where we do all the new #1s." Because they tend to win the vote. Everyone wants to find out what's going on with them. And this is the case with this week. This X-Men book is written by Charles Soule. And we got a hell of an art team here. I'm going to mess up probably half the names, roughly. Jim Chung is the penciler. Mark Morales is inker, along with Guillermo Ortega and Walden Wong. And then we got colorists of Richard Isanvo and Rain Barredo. So
I think it's
Eisenoff. Okay. Yeah. See, I knew I'd mess up at least half of them. So call me out if you will. This is a Marvel Comics production. We're going to get into the blurb here, spit the bit about this new X-Men book, and let you guys know if you should buy it, borrow it, or forget it altogether. So here we go. The X-Men Resurrection lineup wraps up its relaunch by finally dropping its final title, Astonishing X-Men, with the team made up of a unique mix of morally ambiguous characters. It's definitely an attention grabber for sure. So does this cast of characters translate into a team you care about reading going forward? And do you have too many X books on your pull list already and aren't sure if this should be added? We're about to break all that down for you and tell you right now. So yeah, this was actually one of the books I looked most forward to because, Gold was kind of just a continuation of Extraordinary with the team mixed up, and Blue is essentially the same cast that was in all new X-Men.
yeah.
So yeah, this was kind of the new team, and as far as the cast of characters goes, you got kind of a mix of villains, or not really straight up villains, but people who play the middle of the road, I guess you could say. And just straight
anti-heroes.
Yeah, and just straight up good guys that have no problem killing people. So it's a pretty cool cast of dudes, and we're dealing with basically from the cover. I don't know, is because Beast pops up later in the issue. He wasn't on the cover though, was he?
I don't think that's Beast.
Oh yeah. Oh, okay. All right. So we'll get into that later.
Yeah.
But anyway, yeah, this, as far as things go, gets off to a good start. Really kind of has a strong setup to it. And as far as that goes, we're going to get into things here and let you know how this starts off. It looks like off the bat, we just have some random psychics. I don't know. My X-Men knowledge isn't, 100% perfect, but is this white-haired chick just a random to you? Or
yeah, she's just a random.
Good. So I'm right there. And then we go to page 2, which is really the first splash page of the book. And you see just a bunch of other psychics. And you pick up from the narration going on that there's somebody out there attacking various psychics, and the narration kind of really gets into how a lot of these people are similar. Like, you know, once you realize you have this power, you either go into hiding so you don't really have to deal with everybody and all their thoughts all the time, or you kind of embrace it a little bit and you become more powerful and you can deal with, you know, the constant assault on your brain. So it was a pretty cool way of setting the mood, and you know, because I'm always confused as far as like what psychics can do and all this power and all this stuff, you know, they're capable of. And with Marvel and the whole astral plane stuff, you know, that's another added dimension of craziness going on. So this really kind of does a good job of spelling it out for you if you're confused about what they're able and not able to do, you know. Are you there?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I'm like staring at the art. I'm like looking at all the psychics at the top on the top panels. How it looks like, like through their stress or whatever, or the attack on them. Like everything's like blowing out from them outward. Yeah, like there's like a whirlpool around every one of them.
Yeah, that's a pretty cool effect. You see all what is that, dead fish around that dude in that last boat? His power expelling out. So if he didn't die, he would have had a hell of a fishing haul. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know. And the guy's all the dead birds. Like he's got dead birds all around.
Yeah, that guy would have made some money, and he would have been set for a while. But he's dead.
I really did enjoy the narration, which is oh god, why is his name escaping me? Oh yeah, Shadow King. Like
Shadow King. Yeah, you don't really find out till the end of the issue when the reveal and you see his speech bubbles and shit, and you make the connection. But yeah, you can tell it's somebody bad when just by the dialogue and the tone of what he's saying. So you know it's not,
and the color.
Yeah, you know it's not one of the X-Men kicking off this narration here. The situation really doesn't waste any time from that point forward, really kicking into high gear. We see Psylocke. Is that how you say her name? Or do you say Pooksley? I used to say Pooksley for some reason. When I was a little kid, that's how I would read it, Pooksley. I don't know why. But yeah, like when I would read the X-Men books in the 90s, that's what it was to me, Pooksley. But I know it's Psylocke now. I just wanted to verify for you know, people get on my case with my dialect sometimes on Twitter. But anyway, Pooksley's like Pooksley. Fuck, I did it.
Okay. Alrighty.
Psylocke is in London at this moment in time, and she ends up becoming the next victim of these psychic attacks. And instead of just dying, she's trying to fight it off at this moment in time. And these psi butterflies start expelling from her. And they're basically, what we find out from the next couple pages is going out to various X-Men, kind of close to her that she knows and are relatively in the area that she's at. Like it seems like a lot of these people are somewhere near Europe. You know what I'm saying? Like, because we go through the character introductions. We got Bishop, who's in the British Museum doing research. Angel, who's in Scotland, just kind of flying around. Then we got Phantom X and Gambit, who are in Paris doing a job. And we got Old Man Logan and Rogue, who are just chilling, flying over the North Atlantic somewhere.
You know what I liked about this is that because, you know, Shadow King is psychic and he's attacking all these people and he's in their heads when she sends out those butterflies to, like, you know, give them their warning or her call for help. You know, he can feel that too. So like he knows who these butterflies are going out to, and then that goes into the narration when, you know, each butterfly goes to a person, he starts introducing them and giving a little history on them, and I was like, wow, it's just so natural, you know. It flows. Yeah,
it was a cool way to basically all they're doing here is just introducing you to characters you already know and showing you who's going to be in the book. But it's a cool way to not make it repetitive and boring when you got the bad guy narrating who Psylocke is involving in this situation, he's really setting into motion. So yeah, it's like good planning on his part, because he really gets a sense of who he has to prepare for going forward.
Yeah.
So once we see these Psy butterflies really attached to the various members they've been sent out to, we check back in on Psylocke, and she has gone full psychic butterfly herself and attached herself to this giant building in London, which I'm sure has a name that I'm just not privy to at this moment in time, because it looks pretty distinctive. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
it's not Big Ben, the clock tower, but it'd be like this butterfly attaching itself to the equivalent of, like, I don't know, the Statue of Liberty and something in New York. It's recognizable. I just didn't feel like doing research and looking up pointed structures in England and having to hunt through all that. You know what I'm saying? So one of our overseas fellas, if you want to help us out with that, let us know what the hell that building is. Holler at us. So yeah, everybody starts converging on Psylocke's location. They know she's in trouble. They've got the gist of that from these butterflies, which have kind of filled them in on the situation. And the first ones on the scene are Old Man Logan and Rogue. Rogue decides she's gonna, take the situation head on. Starts heading in Psylocke's direction, like flying towards her, because she's like, oh, I'm gonna do what I'm gonna do, and suck her power out to knock her out for a little while and put an end to this. But as she's getting close to Psylocke, these, I don't really know how to describe them. They're like mini psychic arrowheads, like pink little pointy things start flying at her, and yeah, they're kind of like psychic bullets, I guess you could say. Just flying at her and start penetrating her skin, which she's like, well, this ain't good because my skin's impenetrable, and as she's getting close to Psylocke, the spears have, like, she's gone through this mist of spears, but then they have now reversed course and are coming back for her. And she's like, well, this ain't good because I'm not going to be able to take that again, So then Angel arrives in the nick of time and does his, wrap the wings around her thing and protects both of them from this next wave coming at them. And this is when not necessarily the art is bad. It just gets a little confusing because Gambit and Phantom X arrive on the scene in probably what is the craziest damn vehicle I've ever seen in my life.
His ship is insane.
Yeah, it's like a glowing circle with kind of spider legs on it that float. I don't really know how else to describe it other than that.
It's crazier than it's crazier than it looks because I'm pretty sure it's alive, like it has sentience.
Oh, okay.
And he can plug his brain into it. And there's also this crazy place inside called the World, where it's like this fucking insane different reality. And it's kind of like
that's essentially where Phantom X was made, right? That's where he was created.
Yeah.
As an experiment.
His ship is so insane.
Yeah, so he's got these crazy ass powers. I personally love Phantom X. I think he's a badass character. He's probably one of the reasons I was mainly attracted to this book, because I'm like, God damn it, Old Man Logan's in every fucking X-Men book, Not that I don't like him, but I need a different reason to be attracted to this book besides Old Man Logan, and Phantom X was a big reason for all that.
I like that you got a bunch of characters that are not mainstays pretty much, except for, Rogue's an Uncanny Avengers, but everybody else, nobody has a book aside from Old Man Logan and Rogue. Yeah. Like, these are all characters that just pop up in certain X-Men books, but now they're part of a team, which is really awesome.
A random team too, because they just happen to be in the area all this went down, so they're forced all together into this situation. But back to the events at hand in Phantom X's vehicle. Which is in midair at this point, and it starts getting attacked by these psychic bullets, which are just essentially flying around this entire area Psylocke's in. Probably, she has control of them, but she's not in control of herself right now. So they're taking out everybody trying to help her. And it looks like at this point they take out this vehicle. Doesn't it look like these psychic bullets blow it to smithereens?
Yeah, it looks like pieces of it just gets ripped into pieces.
Yeah.
But the good part about that is it's the ship is self-healing, so even if it gets ripped apart, it can put itself back together. So
okay, all right. So the weird part is you never see them fall, because when you turn the page, you check in on Old Man Logan, who is seeing these psychic bullets take out helicopters in the area, and now they're going after people. So he's trying to get in the way, from what I understand, of these bullets from hitting these people, right?
Yeah.
Is that what you've picked up from this? Okay.
Yeah, so, yeah, he's trying to jump up and take the attention away from the civilians.
Yeah, civilians all running for cover. And it looks like he does it, because the next time you see Old Man Logan, he's just beat to shreds. You know what I'm saying? His clothes are all ripped. He's all tattered up. And then right above that, you see these bullets also taking on Phantom X and Gambit, who are on the ground at this point in time. So they've gone from midair to the ground, safe and sound.
Yeah, they don't really show what happened to the ship.
Yeah, that's why I was like, because I had to go back and look at this real close, because this is just like the transitions. The art is amazing, but the transitions are a little muddled. Need some ammo. Phantom X throws him some cartridges, so he's going to start using these bullets to like fling them around. So cool. And yeah, I thought so too. Take out these psychic spears.
You charge those clips with his power, like that's the most badass thing. The next most badass thing is he throws them at Phantom X, and Phantom X catches the clips with the guns. Like he just turns the gun sideways and like catches the clips inside the gun and just loads of his fucking.
So they're both using like this same ammo that actually has an effect on these psychics spears / bullets, because I mean, cutting them and doing stuff like that is having no effect on them. You know, like even when they hit you, they're not disappearing, it seems like, because they just keep circling back around.
It makes sense because Gambit's power is kinetically charging things. So kinetic energy versus kinetic energy. So, you know, they could destroy it. Probably.
That's not a problem I have with it. I'm just trying to like the ones that are hitting Wolverine are like circling back and hitting them again. The ones that were hitting Rogue were circling back and hitting them again. So unless you do something to these spears, it seems like they just keep circling around and drilling you. You know what I'm saying? So we check back in on Logan again, and he's got these spears coming for him once again. You know, he's about to take another assault when it looks like Bishop arrives, and he uses some futuristic gun he has to take care of him. So he saves Old Man's Logan's ass. And they have a funny little exchange. He's like, "You're the Logan that killed all the X-Men in your dimension, aren't you?"
Yeah.
He's like, "Yep." He's like, "You gonna do it again?" He's like, "Probably won't."
Yeah, he's like, "Don't want to, probably won't." That's great. Guess we'll see.
And their exchange gets interrupted because Angel comes swooping down to grab Bishop. He's like, "We need you up top, dude." And we check in on Psylocke, Rogue. Yeah, the Psylocke and Rogue situation going on up top, because Rogue is basically like, at this point, listen, I can suck her power out, but then all that's going to do is just be me the one exploding psychic power out everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
So they need a way to really get rid of it, which is why Angel brought Bishop up, because Bishop is then going to take the power from Rogue, which he ends up doing by Rogue kissing him, and Bishop can then expel it into the air. And this is all a really cool scene of just like teamwork and using everybody's powers to solve a situation, which was just one of the highlights of the issue. It was an awesome way to get everyone on the team involved that's in the area for a random reason and some quick thinking to solve the problem at hand, at least the first one, you know?
It really was great, because especially like I see in a lot of team books that's one of the aspects they seem to forget for some reason, is, you know, making the team work together as a team and using their powers in a interesting way, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. Like everyone, there's 4 people up top here, and they've all contributed, well, except Psylocke, who's causing the situation. They've all contributed to solving the problem. Angel brought Bishop up, Rogue touched Psylocke, Rogue kissed Bishop. Bishop got rid of the power, and it, problem solved for now. So then all the X-Men get back together, and I can't tell if they're in the air at this point or on the ground. It looks like they're back in the air because Phantom X's vehicle is at least healed partially enough to fly for now, even though it looks beat up still.
Yeah.
I just made a connection. I'll tell you when we get there. But so Old Man Logan, Gambit, and Phantom X arrive, and they start chatting with Rogue and everybody. And that's when we finally see, quote unquote, Beast arrive out of this vehicle. And here's my stupid ass connection I just made, because Mystique's on the goddamn cover and Beast comes walking out of here, and Beast isn't on the cover.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is most likely Mystique.
I saw like a bunch of people complain because this is like an old character design for Beast. Like he's got,
it's like the Morris.
And someone said that because he looked like that because of the serum that he took, I think it was maybe mutant growth hormone, was like devolving him into more cat than man, and the reason why he doesn't look like that anymore is because they fixed that problem. But who cares? I mean, that's a little. I thought that was a little nitpicky, but
yeah, that's
because if it is Mystique,
every artist draws Beast differently.
Yeah, they all do.
I think it's just an artistic thing. It's not. There's no reason behind Beast looking this way in this book.
No, in IVX, Kenneth Rocafort and IVX #0 drew Beast like a cat. So it doesn't really matter. Plus, it's Mystique, so it can be totally forgiven that she's doing it from her like memory imprint of him. So because it's not really Beast.
You can come up, with 100 different reasons for why Beast looks the way he does. Yeah, I think it's just whatever artist is drawing him at that point in time, they draw their interpretation of Beast, and nobody really cares, or there's not a house style for what he should look like,
yeah.
Which is weird, but regardless, that's how Beast has been forever. So it doesn't even faze me when I see Beast looking different from book to book,
No, me neither.
So yeah, the X-Men are all discussing things now, and basically this is the point where Psylocke has figured out what's going on, so she's filling everybody in on what's up. She's like, this was straight up. She just comes out and says it. She's like, this was Shadow King. I thought I had him imprisoned on the astral plane and under control. Apparently that's not what's going on. He's trying to basically make a web of psychics across the country and build this power up so he can come back into the real world and get out of the astral plane as far as being stuck there goes, So that's the gist of what I understood going down here. Am I right?
Yeah. Same here. I mean, she also said that she also at one point in time imprisoned him in her mind, so she knows exactly what he feels like. Yeah.
And I think that this is it's also mentioned that he's been taking out lower level psychics, like the ones that kind of hang out by themselves, but they're not powerful enough, or he's killed all of them he can and doesn't have enough power yet to do what he wants to do. So he's got to go after these stronger, X-Men type psychics like Psylocke and the Jean Greys of the world, so he can be powerful enough and just, like she says, he wants to make essentially the world burn. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He wants to take
that's
it
a lot
over.
of power too.
Yeah.
And Emma.
Yeah, and Psylocke's like, I won't be able to withstand another one of those attacks. So what we have to do is we have to do this right this second. We have to go get him and take care of him, possibly kill him right now. And they do. They decide to enter the astral plane, like right on the spot where they're at this building, because they're in the air at this point, right?
Yeah, they're at the top of that building that Psylocke was climbing as a giant butterfly.
So
which is great.
Yeah, I know that giant butterfly thing kind of made me laugh, but I was like, oh, that's kind of cool at the same time, So anyway, they have this brief discussion about who's going to go in and who's going to stay and protect the people going in, because they're defenseless as they enter the astral plane in the physical world. Psylocke's like, I can link you and send you in. The only part I'm fuzzy on because they don't really show the X-Men in the astral plane at this point, is Psylocke just linking the 5 of them to go in, or is she going to be joining them?
I think she's going to be joining them.
Okay. Because yeah, I was a little sketchy on if she'd be with them or not, or if she's just the link to get them in there.
Actually, you know what? I think you're right. I think I think she's probably going to use everything she has just to send them in, because she says, I'm sending you in now. Be ready the moment you arrive, meaning like she's not going to be there.
Yeah. Okay. So I guess we'll have to wait for next issue to truly find out, because they don't really tell us. Because as she's sending everybody in, she kind of opens her eyes in a cool panel at the bottom of the page, and then you see the bad guy, the Shadow King, goes by the Spider, and let me get this name right. Amal Farouk is his, I guess, real name.
That sounds right.
Yep. So he looks pretty cool. I mean, he looks like Kingpin's body attached to like Madam Web's legs, giant spider web.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
looks creepy as fuck too.
Yeah. And he's hanging out in this giant astral plane spider web, and he's got obviously a bunch of like most likely psychic people trapped in this web. Like,
yeah, I think those are the psychics that he's been taking.
Killing. Yeah. Because then he goes over to this safe and he starts unwrapping this safe, which is in one of these webs, and he's kind of like talking shit the whole time, you know, like the X-Men are here, they have no idea what they're about to you know face. I'm ready for them, shit like that. And as the cliffhanger arrives for us, we kind of see his ace in the hole. Yeah, he's got a Professor Xavier in this safe, all chained up. So he's got like the astral plane Professor Xavier. So I guess when you die, when you're a psychic, you don't die, you go to the astral plane. Is that what, or is this just,
or he could have escaped? Like when he died, instead of dying, like he could have jumped his consciousness at that moment to the astral plane. So his body died, but his consciousness
probably what happened a little bit. Regardless, we see Xavier all wrapped up in chains, tied up, and his dialogue box says, "Yes, Amal, I couldn't agree more," meaning he's ready to take on the X-Men with you know, the Shadow King. And his word box is basically the Shadow King's word box. So you get the idea the Shadow King has him under control at this point in time, which is pretty crazy. And this might be kind of like an opening the door for Charles Xavier to maybe pop back into the books. I don't know.
I think so. Because all they need to do is find him a body.
Yeah, that's how things wrap up. And it, you know, pretty cool issue. There's not, to be honest with you, there's not a lot that happened. It's essentially one locational scene that takes place over the entire issue, and it's a lot of fighting and taking things on.
Like a lot happened. Like that's the crazy. That's what I was thinking of right before, because I read it right before we went on, and I was thinking, I'm like, you know, it all takes place within like not a few moments, but it all takes place in like one spot, kind of, and it happens pretty quick. But at the same time, it feels like it took a long time for it to happen, and so much shit happened inside of this like one fight that's just like a prelude to what's really gonna happen.
Yeah, I know. It's just basically a standard introduction #1 issue, but it's just done very, very well. So, you know, as far as buy, borrow, or forget it goes, I don't know. You're the X-Men guy, so why don't you take it away? Let everyone know what you think.
All right. First, I just wanted to say about Jim Cheung's art. I love Jim Cheung. I loved Clone Conspiracy. I love all the covers that he does. He does so many covers over the years for so many different events. He just did Clone Conspiracy. His Young Avengers. Like, I love Jim Cheung, and his art is like so friggin' detailed in this book. It's crazy. Like, there are a couple of panels where actually literally a couple, just 2 panels that are pretty small, where, you know, you get like dots for eyes, but other than that, like almost everything is just so detailed. Yeah. And like when you're looking at coats, you can see like the crinkles in the coats, and it's just so damn good. I love the cast of characters. I love that we're not getting, like, you know, aside from Old Man Logan. I mean, Rogue's only in 1 book, and she only ever shows up in that book. So aside from Logan, you know, we're getting a bunch of people that we don't get to spend a lot of time with. You know, we see in passing, or we don't see it all. Like I can't remember the last time anyone saw Bishop.
Yeah.
I loved Phantom X, and there's so many things going on in this book before it happens, like Phantom X and Gambit. Like Gambit's robbing the friggin' Louvre.
Yeah, they're working together, and they're not like huge fans of each other, which is just interesting off the bat,
and the only reason why they're working together is because Gambit owes Phantom X money, and and that's the whole reason why he's following him in.
Yeah, he doesn't trust Gambit to pay him back. Yeah,
he doesn't trust him to pay him back, and he's gonna like be on his ass and protect him, because if he dies, he can't pay him back. So he's like gonna be his bodyguard and best friend, and he basically says he's like, "Oh, he's my best friend until he pays me my money." It was freaking hilarious.
He's got a little Deathstroke thing going on there.
They're like those two were some of my favorite parts of this book, like the clips, when Gambit charges the clips and throws them to him, but he's shooting like all the kinetically charged bullets, and that's another thing I like when you said that you know, they all come together as a team and use their powers in interesting ways. Like, you know, Angel brings Bishop up, Rogue takes the energy from Psylocke, she pushes it into Bishop so Bishop can get rid of it. Like, great teamwork. And then at the bottom, you got the only two people who have defense against these psychic blades, you know what I mean? Because, you know, his kinetically charged bullets, kinetically charged playing cards. So they're the only two people who can, like, pretty much destroy these little psychic blades, and they're on the ground doing that, you know what I mean? So everybody's playing their part. I love the narration. It was so great. It didn't feel forced. Nothing felt forced in this issue. It totally made sense when he was introducing all the characters, because when Psylocke sent out, you know, her psychic call for all of them, because he's controlling her, and in his mind he can follow those calls, so he can be like, oh, it's Gambit, and then, you know, he gives like a little introduction to Gambit. Oh, it's Angel, gives a little introduction. It just total set. Like, Charles Soule just did a great job. I love it. It's a buy for me. I'm glad Professor X was at the end. I hope they bring him back. He's been dead for like 5 going on 6 years. It's, you know, it's long enough that
get away from there.
It's not, he hasn't been away. He's been away for a long time. So if they brought him back now, it wouldn't be cheap. You know what I mean? It's not like bringing Logan back now. Like, it wouldn't be like he died for nothing. Now we're all of a sudden bringing him back quick. It's been like 5-6 years. So fucking much has happened since Avengers vs. X-Men. So it makes total sense. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a fun book. Like I said, the art was fantastic. There are a few transitional problems as far as understanding what those goddamn little spears were going and doing. But I think that's just like the nature of that weapon. It was hard to really come across clearly the intentions and the I don't know, the strengths and weaknesses of what was flying around there, I guess. Other than that, everything else I liked. You know, and even like that, it's not a huge problem. It's just like on 1 or 2 pages. So the story was cool. It's just a perfect way to introduce you to the team and get you hooked on the concept going forward for you know, however long they feel like running with it, because they haven't really established many plans for this aside from being a Shadow King story. You know what I'm saying? A long running Shadow King story. But
it's a
like
12-issue one.
Yeah, like I hope it does end up, if that's the point of the book, ultimately bringing Professor X back to life. That would be just a cool thing to follow and read along with, you know. Not that Professor X
change it.
Yeah, not that he's one of my favorite characters. Like, I need him back, but I think he gives the X-Men like a good establishing leadership type position, and it would be cool to have him back again. Yeah, like it just limit all the infighting going on with, you know, constantly changing leaders and all this shit. Just setting teams instead of people hopping back and forth because they're sick of this X-Men or they're sick of, you know, just drama going down. So, you know, it'd be cool end purpose for a story. And, you know, if that's what Marvel Legacy is leading to, that's what we all really want, you know? So, yeah, this is definitely a buy for me. I think it's hard to say after 1 issue, but this is the most intriguing X-Men story along with Old Man Logan for me out of all the books out right now, and you know, that's where I'm at. So
it feels like the most X-Men book out of all the X-Men books.
Yeah, it really does, you know, because and I like that it's monthly. It's not one of the bi-weekly commitments where you can't count on the art to be top notch every issue. And you know, just another problem with like the bi-weekly books is they seed like in issue 1 or 2 this super intriguing story and story point, and then it's addressed on like 1 page in the next 4 or 5 issues, you know. And
you know what I like,
for example, the Magneto wanting to send the kids back, and the Executioner guy in X-Men Gold, like those are the 2 most interesting things in that book. Well, and they're barely happening right now, and this is just addressing the main problem head on, which is cool.
Here's the cool thing about it is where is it? I'm looking for it. I don't have it here. Shit. Anyway, here's the cool part. Remember at the end of X-Men Blue where it showed all the things that are coming, and at the bottom panel it was Professor X saying, "To me, my X-Men." You know, that kind of ties in with this book, which is pretty cool because also on the art, every issue is going to have a different A-list artist. Like this one was done by Jim Chung. The next one was done by Mike Diodato. I think after that is like Ed McGuinness or something. Like every issue is going to have like, you know, one of the best artists that Marvel has. And they said that Astonishing is going to be the vehicle that changes towards the end of its story. It's going to change every X-Men book. So like what happens in this book is going to like reverberate throughout the whole entire X-Men universe, you know? So, I mean, that's pretty cool, especially with Professor X.
Yeah, it seems like the one to follow right now, and it's not the $8 a month investment, you know? So if you're getting sketchy on the gold or the blue teams, I think Astonishing is the way to go for now, and see where that leads you. So we both recommend you buy, and we're going to wrap this bad boy up. If you guys are looking for a little more Marvel talk, we do the Marvel Madness Comics podcast. That comes out every Monday afternoonish. We got 3 books this week along with this one, Secret Empire 6, Spectacular Spider-Man 2, and All New Guardians 6. So if you want to hear that, join us over there. But personal accounts, I'm at Beamer3660. If you're looking for Trevitt, where can they find you, man?
You can find me at Afronaddict.
And we'll be there all week. You can yell at us, tell us our opinions suck, or agree with us. We like that too. So party is gonna be over on this end. You want to tell everybody?
Party's over.
Party's over. And we will talk to you next week, guys. Peace out.
These people are raping me on the I'm on social